מאמין. מה שרואה עוד, וגם משהו שעדיין משיח ליבו.
If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East.
אז הייתה משהו ומה ידיעתו.
Every person will get affected differently by the event that it's going to come. So the tzarot is events. So what is these tzarot? Terror attacks, weird murders, diseases, floods, disasters, wars, pandemics, whatever.
Independent Islamic Republic.
The globalist strategy is simple. Break down the existing international order and unleash chaos, wars, pandemics, famine. These are the very tools to create a world in turmoil. And in this chaos, the call for one world leader, one world government, grows louder.
The Illuminati have been purposely organizing, directing, and financing wars, revolutions, violence, and bloodshed, so that it will sufficiently impress and frighten the world of humanity into accepting a new order, a new police state that will finally put down all the law and the disorder in the world. And it is the oldest trick in the book. Our greatest enemy is not in a crack house, it's in the White House. It's not in a barroom, it's in the boardrooms. And so the point I'm making is that we are being manipulated from the very top. And we need to wake up and find out that America is not the land of the free and the home of the brave, because we're not free and we're sure ain't brave.
Trump's actions are shattering the international system. He's trampling on established norms, making bold proposals like taking over Greenland, taking control of the Panama Canal, and even annexing Canada. As he pushes these ideas forward, the United Nations is exposed for what it truly is: completely irrelevant. What can the United Nations do? After all, what have they done even for places like Palestine? The United Nations has become nothing but a debating society, powerless to act.
How all the big people in the world will basically put their ego aside and will say, okay, you are our Messiah, you are the Moshiach. Not just the Jews going to say that, all the world's going to say that. So how is it going to happen? He will be using Hatach, Donald Trump, to basically hit the nations. And that's what he's doing now. Whoever is against us, he's the only one that actually says, listen guys, I don't care. They're going to be punished. Ani makeh b'hem. So now we know who's Donald Trump. Now what his mission is takeh. He needs to help to the nation of Israel, the mission that he didn't do in Mordechai's time, to go against the enemies. Amalek, who is Amalek in our generation? Hamas, Hezbollah, all those guys are neshamot of Amalek. And that's why he hates them. And he doesn't care what people say. That's the interesting part about it. There's no person in the world that has a little bit of power that thinks like this. Only him. He himself doesn't understand why he's like this. You know why he doesn't understand? Because it's his soul. He has a certain mission that God made it happen.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Trump is very serious about executing his plans, and as he pushes forward, expect a wave of conflicts across the globe. And these conflicts won't be limited to the West, they'll be in the East as well. Expect the Taliban against Pakistan, Iran versus Israel, Iran versus Bahrain, Azerbaijan versus Armenia, North Korea versus South Korea, and more. The international order is broken, and it's not coming back.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be,
the system they built, largely for their own benefit, is about to collapse. No country is in a position to challenge Donald Trump. The UN will remain silent. The laws of the jungle is becoming the new norm in global politics, and the drums of war are beating louder and louder. Look at what's happening in Azerbaijan, where President Ilham Aliyev has declared Armenia a threat, even labeling it as a fascist state. Aliyev has made it clear that Azerbaijan is preparing for war over the Zangezur corridor, a critical link to Turkey. In Venezuela, tensions are rising. Nicolas Maduro is set to take office again, but the American puppet Edmundo Gonzalez, who lost the election, will push Washington to intervene, creating a crisis and maybe a justification to invade Venezuela and remove Maduro from power. The same thing will play out in Cuba and places like Nicaragua. Trump will not back down.
Elon Musk, quien se mete conmigo se seca, quien se mete con Venezuela se seca. Elon Musk, ¿quieres pelea? Vamos a darle, Elon Musk. Estoy listo. Soy hijo de Bolívar y de Chávez. No te tengo miedo, Elon Musk. Vamos a darnos, pues, donde quiera. Como decimos en Caracas, en los barrios. Si tú quieres, yo quiero, Elon Musk. Di dónde.
And then there's Palestine, of course. Trump has warned that if Palestinian leaders don't release Israeli hostages before his inauguration, he will unleash hell on them. And he's serious. Israel will likely become even more aggressive in the region, perhaps launching strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, just as they did with Iraq in the past. Iran knows this and is preparing for what's coming, unveiling new missiles and ramping up military drills.
For Iran, Israel is first, America is next. So when Israel fights Hamas, we're fighting Iran. When we fight Hezbollah, we're fighting Iran. When we fight the Houthis, we're fighting Iran. And when we fight Iran, we're fighting the most radical and murderous enemy of the United States of America.
Everyone's talking about peace in Ukraine, but when it comes to Ukraine, peace is actually impossible. What Trump can do is maybe a truce, but never real peace. The situation has spiraled too far, and America never talks peace, they only know how to manage conflict.
Well, you know, the fact that Mr. Trump, as a presidential candidate, says that he's ready and wants to stop the war in Ukraine, we take that very seriously. Well, I haven't seen his ideas on how exactly he's going to do that, and that is the key question. But I have no doubt that he says that sincerely, and we support that.
Trump's ultimate goal is clear. He wants to drag Europe into a devastating war with Russia, while the US watches from afar. The old system is dead. Trump has opened Pandora's box, and the world is on the edge of total chaos. But the question is, who actually stands to gain from all this? Who benefits from pushing humanity to the brink? I think it's someone who plans to offer a solution. A single world leader who will promise peace, prosperity and stability. And that's how we know who Trump is working for. He is working for unseen forces behind the scenes. Donald Trump has earned the title of the most pro-Israel president in American history, and the Zionists are funding him. The Zionists who believe in the coming of a Messiah, a Jewish king of peace. In their view, the Messiah will restore order, bringing peace and prosperity after a period of utter devastation. It's this chaos, this suffering that's about to take place is what's necessary to make the Messiah appear as the world's savior. This is the chaos Trump is creating. The path is set and the consequences will be felt worldwide. The question is, are we ready for what's coming? Thanks for listening to the Independent Islamic Republic. Assalamu alaikum. Have a good night. Over and out.